Yo guys, what is going on? JPS back for another video, and today we're going to be watching the best of Stephen Fry on religion. Now, Stephen Fry is someone whose presence I very much enjoy, being the host of QI, which is a show we're currently watching on Patreon, along with numerous other shows and movies. If you want to join, it's the first link in the description. But Stephen Fry always has something witty to say. Very nice guy, just an enjoyable guy to watch in the show, being the host as well. But I thought it'd be a good time to take a look at what he has to say outside of QI, outside of the show and some of the other places we've seen him, with regards to religion. He was a good friend of Christopher Hitchens, so we did see a bit of him featured on some of the Christopher Hitchens compilations we've reacted to. But this one will be solely Stephen Fry, and I'm curious to see what he has to say. Now, I don't want this to come across as if I'm promoting a specific narrative on this channel, as that will never be the case with regards to politics or religion. We are completely independent of any of that. On the other hand, it is important to take a look at what people think, what certain people in Britain have to say about certain things. So that's what we're doing today. Remember, this is not any type of propaganda. We're simply going with the flow. And regardless of how you feel about religion or anything, it's always important to take a look at what the other side has to say. And always examine your own beliefs and be very, very open to changing your beliefs, because that's what life's about. So yeah, with that being said, let's get right into it. Hit the like button, guys. Hit subscribe, and let's do it.
Your portion, which they gave a kind of divine permanence, that these were things that were there that were outside our control. And I think most of human history and most of myth and religion has been a question of refining our understanding of things we can't control. So when our ancestors were alone and without any building or farming yet as being an idea, we were hunter-gatherers, as the phrase is, their children looked at the mothers and fathers and they said, what is it that pushes leaves out of trees? It's something that's beyond our control. I know if I pick a stone up, the stone is picked up. But what is the power behind a leaf coming out of a tree? Happens every year. What is this fire that comes out of a mountain? What is the water that drops out of the sky? These are things over which we have no control. And so it's very natural that our ancestors gave them personality. It's the first thing we do. It's as much art and literature as it is religion to make a story out of these forces. And so you name a god of the mountain that roars fire, you name a god of the clouds and the thunder, and you have a god of nature and of growth and the harvest and one of decay, and you make rituals out of it. But then slowly you begin to understand them. And each one that you understand, the god disappears.
But this is what's...
And I think...
Yo, I can't believe this. That was just so well put. And I don't want it to seem like I'm just agreeing with everything that he has to say. That's not... We're going into this with an open mind, guys. I mean, but that's the truth. I feel like religion was made to answer things that we didn't have an answer for and still don't have an answer for. There's still things we don't have an answer for. And that's what religion is. It's a sense of comfort for people, which, you know, that's completely okay. But when you begin to impose that upon others in the public, that's when it's not very okay. And regardless of how you feel about a religion, I feel like that should be the general consensus, is that you can believe what you want, but don't try and force that upon others, which is something that has been seen over and over again throughout history. And we all have our own thoughts about that. But anyways, on with the video.
Plato and the Greeks understood the idea of heaven. Although they talked about God and heaven, they knew them exactly as a model, as an idea. There is an ideal to which we strive. And the Greeks are constantly striving towards something better. They don't believe, you know, as Simon Raven, the novelist, put it, the genius of the Greeks lay in this understanding of eschatology, of you know, the idea of a life after death. And it was put by Sinon, I think, the Greek, who said, any single person who tells you that they know what happens to a human being after they have died is either a liar or a fool. It's a simple and obvious thing to say.
Or both.
But the Greeks had that. And it's mysterious to us because we tribally and for hundreds of years, almost 1,500 years, struggled to have such a simple, honest, open idea. Yeah. Anybody who tells you what happens after you die is either a fool or a liar.
I've read, Stephen, I've read you saying somewhere that we must believe there is no life after death.
Oh, yes.
And because we will live a very bad life unless we do believe. Because if we think this is just a preparation.
Absolutely.
For yes.
Facts, bro. It's people living for heaven. I'm like, bro, that's your own beliefs, but like, I'm living for what's right now. I'm enjoying life right now. Like, I'm not worried about what happens. You know, I'm here for what I have right now. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'm curious.
Shocked, before he shocked us for other reasons, by Mel Gibson. When I know, but he was being interviewed, this is in the 80s, at the very height of his young stardom, when he was the coolest man on the planet, virtually. And I had no idea that he belonged to this particularly severe Catholic sect in Australia that his father was a member of. But the interviewer said, I believe I've read somewhere, Mel, that you believe in life after death and in God. And Mel Gibson said, well, I know one thing for a fact. There's got to be more to it than this. I thought, what? What? Even if you were just an ordinary guy, to say, oh yeah, there's America, there's Australia, there's Europe, there's the Lake District, there's the poles, there's the deserts, there's the tropics, there's the bushes, there's
the galaxy, there's the universe.
But there's got to be more than that, surely. But not only that, you are a star who can have as much sex as you can eat and as much money as you could possibly demand, and you feel it's somehow not enough, you know? And this idea that... and of course, as all kinds of obvious ways of knowing that religion, uses the afterlife and the threat of something better as a way of allowing people.
You're going to hell.
Forcing people to put up with what they've got. But yes, I do believe that even on its own terms, if you believe in an afterlife, it limits this life. It's just, you've got to, as Oscar Wilde said, try the fruit of every tree, of every orchard. In the world, and some will be bitter, and some will be too addictive, and so on. But if you, and so I often say to religious people, I said, I would say, well, suppose a Calvinist appears at the gates of heaven, and St. Peter says, so what did you make of cannabis sativa, the plant there? Oh, I never tried that. Oh, no. Have you any idea how much effort went into making this very special plant? I'm not saying you should have nothing but you didn't even try it? Well, what about wine? Oh, no wine touched my lips. You fucker, do you know how complex the grape is? Unique of all fruits, you don't have to add sugar for it to turn into this remarkable drink, and you didn't even bother to try it.
Hey, more for us. If you think about it, let them not try it. I'm all right with that. Oh, man. No, that's crazy. The thing about that argument, though, you can't go too far with it. Like, oh, I've never tried heroin. Oh, I've never tried like, you see what I'm saying? That bucket list needs to be reasonable. Because you can't, I mean, I get it. You're only alive once. You want to try different things. But there is a limit, in my opinion, on what those different things should be. Some may disagree. And, hey, more power to you. Let me know what it's like.
That's such an extraordinary idea. I mean, you should, on your deathbed, you should be going, damn it, I never drank milk from the armpits of a Nepalese virgin, or whatever it is that, I don't know, that wouldn't be my particular one, but some people, I never climbed Kilimanjaro, there's so much.
That's so beautifully put. Exactly right.
That's hilarious.
It's perhaps unfair of me as a gay man to moan this enormous institution, which is the largest and most powerful church on earth, has over 1 billion, as they like to tell us, members, each one.
I've seen this before. I'm pretty sure I've seen it before, but it was probably a year ago, so I don't remember much of it. All I know is he destroyed them. That's what I remember from this. They were quiet.
Church on
'Cause
earth,
these are
over a billion, as they
they're
like
members
to
of the
tell us,
church.
members, each one of whom is under strict instructions to believe the dogmas of the church, but may wrestle with them personally, of course. It's a little hard for me to know that I am disordered, or again, to quote Ratzinger, that I'm guilty of a moral evil, simply by fulfilling my sexual destiny as I see it. It's hard for me to be told that I'm evil, because I think of myself as someone who is filled with love, whose only purpose in life was to achieve love, and who feels love for so much of nature and the world and for everything else, and who, like anybody decent and of an education, realizes that in order to achieve and receive love, it's a struggle. It's not one that needs a pope to tell you how to do it. It certainly isn't one who needs a pope to tell you that you're evil. With 6% of all teenage suicides being gay teenage suicides, we certainly don't need the stigmatization, the victimization that leads to the playground bullying when people say you're a disordered, morally evil individual. That's not nice. It isn't nice.
Tell them. See, I'm telling you guys, this was such a long time ago. I hardly remember any of it. But, yeah, that's something that just I can never get past with the whole religion thing, is the anti-homosexuality. It doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. It's like you're such a hypocrite for that. You're gonna get mad about what other people do, and you're like forcing them to do this, that. Like, bro, what are you doing? Let people live their life. If someone wants to love someone, why can't they love them? I've never understood that. And you got the World Cup being held in Qatar. I seen the signs recently where people can't even wear like clothes and stuff. It's just like, what society are we living in, man? And I respect people's views, like that's cool and all, but when you're starting to impose upon others, and like that's when you kind of lose my respect. But like I said, I mean, I have religious friends, and that's completely fine if you want to practice religion. That hold nothing against you. But if you're going to call other people evil for not committing any evil or heinous act, in my opinion, maybe you're the one who needs something. And it ain't God.
The kind of cruelty in Catholic education, the kind of let's not call it child abuse, it was child rape. The kind of child rape that went on systematically for so long. Let's imagine that we can overlook this and say it is nothing whatever to do with the structure and nature of the Catholic Church and the twisted, neurotic, and hysterical way that its leaders are chosen. The celibacy, the nuns, the monks, the priesthood. This is not natural and normal, ladies and gentlemen, in 2009. It really isn't. I'm sorry. For me to be called a pervert by these extraordinarily sexually dysfunctional people, I don't think human history's ever had more.
Hey, just look at Boston. If you guys go into Boston, Massachusetts, and you look at some of the cases and the things that have been swept under the rug, that's just on the East Coast in the United States that I know of. I remember learning about that in a journalism class in high school. The amount of just predatory behavior towards children was honestly repulsive to read about. Like, just to read about it. And this is not something that's unique to Catholicism. This is a universal thing across a lot of different religions. And it just makes you wonder, what year are we living in?
I have to say, this is not a problem that necessarily is permanent. I like to believe that in 10 years' time I could come back and argue the opposite. Even though I've talked about the history and the structural problems of this benighted institution, and the cruelty and the unpleasantness it has caused around the world, I have yet to approach one of the subjects dearest to my heart. I've made 3 documentary films on the subject of AIDS in Africa. My particular love is the country of Uganda. It's one of the countries I love most in the world. Been there many times. I've interviewed Yoweri Museveni and his wife Janet, before, unfortunately, she suddenly saw God. There was a period when Uganda had the worst incidence of HIV/AIDS in the world. I went to Rakai, the village where it was first spotted. But through an amazing initiative called ABC, abstinence, be faithful, correct use of condoms, those three, I am not denying that abstinence is a very good way of not getting AIDS. It really is. It works. So does being faithful. But so do condoms. And do not deny it. And this Pope, not satisfied with saying, condoms are against our religion, please consider first abstinence, second being faithful to your partner. He spreads the lie that condoms actually increase the incidence of AIDS. He actually makes sure that aid is conditional on saying no to condoms. I have been to, there's a hospital in Bwindi in the west of Uganda where I do quite a lot of work. It is unbelievable, the pain and suffering you see. Now, yes, it is true, abstinence will stop it. It's the strange thing about this church. It is obsessed with sex. Absolutely obsessed. Now, they will say, we with our permissive society and our rude jokes are obsessed. No, we have a healthy attitude. We like it, it's fun, it's jolly, because it's a primary impulse. It can be dangerous and dark and difficult. It's a bit like food in that respect, only even more exciting. The only people who are obsessed with food are anorexics and the morbidly obese. And that, in erotic terms, is the Catholic Church in a nutshell.
Damn. The crazy thing about this video is that was just 2 different instances of Stephen Fry and religion. We need to get more because I really enjoyed that. Again, I don't want this channel to turn into some like some religious battleground where it's like I'm trying to promote this this narrative. It's simply Stephen Fry is someone who I've been watching a lot of recently, and just think he's a very intelligent guy, and I enjoy listening to him. An immense vocabulary, so much knowledge. I mean, did you see some of the like quotes he brought up? And I don't know. I feel like he's a very eloquent speaker. Let me know if you disagree with me, but that's kind of the impression I've gotten from him. Whether or not you agree or disagree with what he said throughout the video, completely your opinion. Whatever. You know, it is what it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of some of the points he made throughout the video. Like I said, I hadn't seen the first clip at all, and I agreed with a lot of what he said in the first clip, if not all, honestly. But the second clip I had seen, where he just demolished them. I mean, it's just great points that you often don't think about, especially this situation in Uganda. I'm sure that's ongoing too, because this was only 13 years ago. Things do not change that fast, although I wish they would. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all this. For those of you who disagree and disagree with Stephen Fry and some of the things he said, tell me why. Maybe try and bring up some evidence or whatever the case may be. I don't know. Just speak with some logic in the comments. That's all I want to see, regardless of your stance on religion. With that being said, guys, I'm done rambling. I'm sorry. Just thought that was a great video to watch. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.